in and near retirement have their own list of concerns. The biggest one just might be running out of money. She needs an advisor who will acknowledge her fears and then help her overcome them. Hi, Nancy. I'm so glad you could join me today. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
I've been interviewing women of different phases and stages in life, and I know you've recently retired. You and your husband have a photography business.
Yes.
So what are you looking for from a financial advisor?
I would say the first thing would be trust.
Why is that so important to you? Have you had a bad experience in the past?
I did have a bad experience, and I also think just the kind of rap that the financial industry's gotten recently. I would say we're all nervous about giving our money over, and I belong to a financial group of women over 50, and I think that's a very big issue. Is their past experiences, and trust is a really important factor for us at this age.
Right. And now that you're onto the decumulation side of retirement, are you looking for different help from a financial advisor?
Yeah, decumulation, that's a scary word. Right. I mean, my husband is not retired, but I'm really the one in the family that is taking care of all the finances. So I've done my own investing for years, and it gets harder and harder with the volatility of the markets.
Right. And the low interest rate.
And the low interest rates. I think a company like Vanguard is doing so well. There's so much money flowing into them now. Because they keep stressing that they have the fiduciary responsibility of their clients in mind, and a lot of us don't feel that that's necessarily the case with all the various things we read about now.
In your experience with advisors in the past, did you usually meet with them with your husband? And
Never.
Never. You didn't. Now that's
I did it
fascinating.
all myself. Yeah, he wasn't interested. I mean, he was very good at making money, but he really was absolutely not interested in investments or trying to invest or learning about it. You know, he's doing it more now, kicking and screaming. I think usually there's one person in the family that does that.
And in this case, it's you.
It's me. My mother did it for our family, which was unusual for that generation.
Sure.
It's been me. She taught me in those days. That was the junk bond era. So you could make 15% on bonds in those days without having them go belly up.
Nancy, you've obviously been a long-term investor and you really care about this stuff. Have you encountered challenges along the way of getting good financial advice?
Well, I would say I had one very negative experience, and it was with a financial advisor that I was with for 20 years. So I obviously had a certain amount of trust in him. He moved to another company, which was not a well-known financial company, but they had a big portfolio. And I went into a bond fund with them that had some leverage, and I kept saying, "This has some leverage, and this has to be safe money for me." And they said, "It's very short-term paper. The bonds turn over all the time. We've never had a problem. Really, it should be fine. It's orphans and widows stuff, so no worries." Well, when the market tanked in 2008. And we had a 700-point drop. That bond fund went down 25%. They sold. I lost quite a bit of money, and I was really angry, but I was financially savvy enough to understand where things happen when they're shutting down markets like this.
And what did you do? Did you stick with them or move on?
Well, I moved on, and I'll tell you why. Because the same financial advisor said, "I think you should put more money in after that fiasco in that same bond fund." That was the only bond fund they had. And I was really angry, and I couldn't understand how he could say that. It said to me, you do not have my fiduciary, you don't have the fiduciary responsibility for me in mind. You broke my trust, and I'm moving on. So trust is a number one important, especially when you're moving into the retirement end of your life.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as one final question, I know you're part of a women's financial group. You're hearing from women in or near retirement. What are you all thinking you want from financial services? If there was one thing you could say to a financial advisor, what would it be?
I would say preservation of capital. We're very afraid, since there's no money coming in and we have to live on income that we're producing and yield is so low now. It's a very, very hard time for financial advisors because they have to produce income for us and they have to do it in a safe way, and they have to make us understand that the days of 5 and 6 and 7% are over, and that we have to figure it out on 2 and 3, and if we're lucky, 4%, to keep it safe and not try to hook older people in with promises of high yields, which are just too risky for us at this age.
Right. So bottom line, you're looking for trust an advisor, and you
Yes.
want them to tell you the truth.
Yes, absolutely.
Nancy, thanks so much for sharing your thoughts with us. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Mary Beth. Thank you.